Bethel reflects on her wedding day and the promise of a happy ever after.
It was on my mom's birthday, 5th of May, 2012. My parents were excited, his parents also, his mom was very excited, his people, everyone was excited because that is something I looked forward to and had prayed about it.
A difficult season that saw the couple struggle to survive.
We had to downgrade and financial constraints. He had carried that not because he was misusing money, but because he had to take care of his mom and his siblings.
Infidelity creeps in and the marriage begins to fall apart.
Yeah, I snooped. I played FBI or is it NIS? And then again, I saw the text again. And I was so broken. It came to a point, it dawned on me, and I told him, I think we are separated. We are not in a marriage.
We were like, oh my God, will she ever come out of this? Because we felt like it's taking too long.
My name is Bethel Nyawira. I'm born again, love the Lord as my personal savior, and I work at Deliverance Church, Kasarani Mweki, in the counseling department and also in the music department, so that's what I do.
Bethel reflects on her upbringing as a church girl and the reality of life at a young age.
I used to stay in a place called Nairobi Chapel. Now it's called Mamlaka Hill Chapel, so I was raised near Hall 13. We were neighbors at the University of Nairobi. So I have two more siblings. Yeah, my older sister and my younger sister. We are all girls, and dad and mom, so a family of 5. I went to school at Nairobi Primary, just opposite Mamlaka Hill Chapel. So I went there. And then later we shifted from Nairobi Primary School to St. Dominic's here at Kasarani Mweki. My upbringing was normal. There's play, there's school, there's interaction, there's Sunday school, there's going to church. And church was not only on Sunday, because we were in the compound, it was every single day. So there's prayers, there's Holy Communion. So as a child, I grew up in the setup of a church, knowing how to arrange Holy Communion items, knowing when the elders are meeting, knowing when the church is starting, knowing when the band members are playing. So I lived in a Christian environment, very healthy, very good. So even as we relocated, though there were some challenges, yeah, because now we are coming to our own home, there were challenges, but I still had a healthy upbringing and Christian life, and therefore it really didn't, the externals didn't really affect me per se, because home was a safe space for me.
As she became of age, questions began to be asked as to when she was getting married.
About when I was 26, 27, there was pressure in that time. You find in church, the women will ask you, when will you get married? Do you even have a boyfriend? And looking back, I didn't have a boyfriend in secondary. I didn't, even in campus, I had friends who were men, friends, and in church, in school, at home, but now I did not have a boyfriend. So the pressure was there. Society pressure was there. My parents per se did pressure me or ask me if you have a boyfriend, but we had conversations with my mom. Now this is the space that you interact with men, have a boyfriend, this is what you need to do. Purity, matters on love, waits. My husband, then we meet in church. I think my story is all about church. We meet in church in the youth group. He was in the same youth group as I. So go for prayers, hiking, workshops, very active in the ushering department. I was also in the praise and worship department. So we met in a church setup. Yes. So and then we started now to date. Yes. So he was my first boyfriend. So I had not dated prior before him. So he was my first boyfriend. And yeah, that's when we began the journey.
The relationship would later grow, and in no time, plans were underway to meet the in-laws.
At the corporate, I'm looking for a job at that time, and I get one. Yeah, even if it is just temporal jobs, but I was willing to do them. And therefore, in the youth group, because of that interaction, we are friends. And he approaches me and tells me that we can take it from just friendship to a relationship, that he loved me. And I had time also to pray about it and to think. And I was like, you know what, we can do this. I also feel the same way. Though he approached me the first time when I was in campus, and I was like, no, oh God, this is not what I wanted. Yeah, this is not the kind of person I wanted. And I think in campus, looked at the physical more than the character. So I was thinking, God, he's too dark. That's not the person I wanted. And I was like, yeah, as he approached me a second time, I was like, that is okay. We can have a relationship. He's now from Western, different cultures. So his parents, my parents, they had no problem with us being in a relationship or even marrying. The only thing that my parents said is like, if we are in Christ, we are in Christ, and therefore even our tribe and our tradition submits to Christ. That was the very important thing that my dad would speak about, that everything else submits to Christ. We went for the introduction with a couple of my friends in church. They're now married, all of them. So we went for the introduction. They also came for the introduction here, and therefore we had a smooth relationship.
The wedding day was set, and as Bethel shares, she looked forward to a happily ever after.
It was on my mom's birthday, 5th of May, 2012. So it was a good day. It also rained that day, and I was looking forward to get married. Yeah, we did our premarital counseling, even with my best couple. Yeah, and we had time to interact on what marriage is and everything that is required for marriage. And therefore my wedding day was good, a wonderful day. My mom was on top of the world. My parents were excited, his parents also. His mom was very excited, his people, everyone was excited, because that is something I looked forward to, and I'd prayed about it, and they had peace of mind. Yes, yeah, and it happened at Deliverance Church.
As a couple, they transitioned into marriage life, but it was not long until they faced their first hurdle.
So first years, there were no challenges, but now navigating through marriage, and this is a new phase, and we had agreed that we'll stay 2 years without a baby, because I felt marriage and a baby at the same time, I did not have the capacity. The challenges start coming in when we have to downgrade. So there's a time I wasn't at work. I had left the work marketplace. So we had to downgrade, and financial constraints. He was the firstborn in his family, and he had to take care of his mom and his brothers. His dad passed away quite early, so he had to be like a father to his brothers and be there. So the financial constraints were there because there was debt. We had a lot of debt. He had carried debt not because he was misusing money, but because he had to take care of his mom and his siblings. We aren't communicating. We aren't praying together. I think we got married, but we did not now have the structures and systems to pray together, to really connect emotionally, to really be open financially, to be open socially, and to be intentional about our marriage and where we are headed to. So challenges come because there are things that we are not doing as a couple.
The birth of their first child proves to be a huge challenge, one that threatens their union.
I knew Bethel in 2012 when she was getting married, but then I had just joined the sides of Kasarani, so I was looking for a church to go to. Then I came in 2011 towards the end of the year. Then in 2012, that's when now I became like a member in Deliverance Church. but we didn't know each other for a while. Then towards when she was getting her son, I can say that's now when I got to know her better.
I forgot about him. See, all my effort was on my baby and their financial constraints. Sometimes rent is a challenge, and he's also quiet, navigating his own solutions or trying to find out what to do. And he supported me at the early stages. Yeah, he was there, he was present, he tried his very best. But now you find we had challenges that we would not even be able to, even on how the child would sleep. Yeah, so he sacrificed to sleep at the couch and for us to sleep in the bed. So you see, we have financial challenges. We're not even able to afford a bed for the child. So, and that's when we started drifting emotionally, very harsh to each other. I forgot about him and focused on the baby. Yeah, and when I realized that when I went to hospital for family planning, and my doctor is the one who asked me, utapoteza bwana. Yeah, you've stayed all this time with no intimacy. Yeah, utapoteza bwana. I'm struggling with motherhood and the changes of the body and not speaking to him. He's also not speaking. So that is when now it started the fading of our marriage, or the disintegration in our marriage began.
Bethel would later come to the realization that her husband at the time was having an affair.
Yeah, I snooped. I played FBI, or is it NIS, and snooped. And because in my mind, there was something, or in my heart, this coldness and harshness we have to each other, there is something very wrong. Yeah, and I got curious. Why is it happening the way it is happening? And why are things the way they are? And therefore, it was bad to that. There are instances that I confronted him, but I would feel like it's like there's no remorse, or it's like, I'm sorry, just a plain sorry, but we did not even have discussions about it. I didn't even raise it to my best couple, because I said, we were taught as young girls that and young ladies, ndoa ni kuvumilia, and you keep quiet, you work out your own marriage, you don't go and tell things. But I also made a mistake. There is a time I snooped and realized, and I texted my mother, he's having an affair. And I later regretted and said, oh, I shouldn't have done that, because my mom won't see him the same way. And therefore, there's a mistake I made. I did not protect him, but I exposed him. So it got worse. So we are navigating parenting, and then I look at the challenges we are having. There's once I even asked my pastor to give me rent. We did not have rent. So we were being assisted by my parents also. And he was also trying his level best to fend for us. But things were not adding up. And therefore, when my mom went to the US 2015, we had that conversation of him going.
An opportunity to go to the U.S. came, and despite the cheating revelations, Bethel was committed to see her husband go.
We processed the passport, processed the visa, and then we went to Western to tell his people now he's gotten an opportunity to go to the US. And when I'm coming back, I also find out. He gave me his phone and then told me, let me hold my son. So we were boarding a matatu coming back from Western to Nairobi, because it was, I think, 2 or 3 days to him traveling. So we had to come back, and it was in December. So there was no traffic coming from Western to Nairobi. So his phone just opened, and then again I saw the text again, and I was so broken. And on the road, because I didn't want to cause drama, I asked him, and we are sitting at the back at the Nissan, I asked him, what are these things? We are planning for America, but these messages. And I was in tears. And then I told him, I have a whole 8 hours. Give me your phone. I read them properly. But by the time he gave me, he had deleted. And there was no remorse. I felt the sorry was not remorseful. We are not having conversations on why is this happening? Yeah, can we solve it? What can we do in our marriage to be more open to each other, to deal with these things? And the trust is breaking, so it was very hard.
Deep down, Bethel was doing her best to hold it all in, but the pain was unbearable.
I was very discouraged, and I was very hurt, even bitter. Yeah, I was bitter and questioning. hey God, did I make a mistake even getting married? Or, okay, did I choose the right partner? Did I hear well? Or I thought I had my own things, you know? Yeah, I questioned a lot of things. Why am I, even betrayal, there was betrayal, I felt betrayed. So spiritually, I felt very, very discouraged. But you know, you put a strong face in the Christian setup. You put like a mask, and everything looks rosy in church, and you're all dressed up. But what is happening at home is a disaster. So you put a strong face and you serve, even if you're bleeding. You lead while bleeding, but you don't sort out the issues at home. And therefore, you find out it's living like a double standard life. In church, there's a way you present yourself, but at home, it's totally different. Yes.
We are living in a lost and broken world, constantly bombarded by messages of hate and atrocities. But with God, we can overcome. Find hope and restoration on the go through life-changing shows on the Family Media app.
And then you will lose yourself and gain the world. And Jesus said, what good is it?
Get to stream Family TV and Family Radio 316 straight from your phone. Catch up on a show you missed or create video streaming playlists by saving and watching videos from our huge variety of shows at your own convenience. Download the Family Media app, available for all Android and iOS users on the Google Play Store and Apple Store, respectively. Family Media, keeping Jesus on the airwaves. Before leaving for the U.S., the couple met with their pastor for intervention, but their minds were set on the opportunity at hand.
We once met with a late reverend, and he said, yeah, this is the challenge you can meet because you are quite young. So it's only 4 years from 2012 May to 2016. Quite a young couple. And he was concerned. Yeah, but you know, now all our minds are like, yeah, you know, Reverend, yes, you are concerned, we thank God, or yeah, it's out of a good place, but we have problems in finances, and the American dream is our focus. So I think we also didn't hear him quite well, but he was concerned from a very genuine place. We were a young couple. So he goes to the US and he's received very well. And here I am with my son. Now he's 1.5 years old. He doesn't even know his father has left. So now I navigate life. Then we had decided, or we had agreed, I will minimize expenses. So I relocated from my place to come back home because he was being helped by my mom. Place to sleep, place to stay, you know, navigating there. My mom was only 1 year, had stayed for 1 year. So navigating. So I thought that the expenses that he's having, I can now add more on rent, on food. So I just come back home.
Life unfolds, and as they try to confront issues, Bethel gets an opportunity to travel to the U.S. as well.
Our hearts are quite harsh to each other, cold to each other. So we're just there. So the years pass, 2017, 18, 19, we are communicating. And I feel I need my own space. So I relocated. I was to go also to the US 2019, but it didn't happen.
It was a sad moment because when we heard that she has not gone, I remember very well, we went and visited her. And at that point, she was so low. She was so low, and we encouraged her because we were like, now what do you tell her? So we were just there to encourage her, to let her know that everything will be okay, and just to pray with her. But at that moment, things were tough for her because I remember very well, she was not coming out of the house. She was just staying indoors. And at some point we were like, you need to get out. You need to come out of the house, go to church or visit somebody or just go out. Because at that point, I think depression was like kicking in. Yeah, but it was a hard time for her, and I really felt bad for her at that point, because I was like, that was a good opportunity for her to go and join the husband and finally to be reunited as a family.
As Bethel navigates this season, the animosity is building, and her mom takes note of the affair as well.
We would argue via text, argue via phone. 2020, 2021, 2022. Arguments upon arguments. So we are hitting each other below the belt and arguing on you not understanding infidelity. So, and also when my mom is also there, she also gets a report of the infidelity. So now there was an year that I was between now. My mom is telling me this is what is happening. And this is what, not like gossip, but this is the evidence I have. This is what, things are not okay. Yeah. He's unfaithful, and this is the report I'm getting, and I have warned him. And also, I would like to tell you, you need to honor your marriage bed and live in purity. Yeah, so it becomes a whole argument. Now he's saying, "Oh, my mother has blown this thing out of proportion. It's not true. I have not done anything." Yeah. At the same time, I ask him. He also says, to some extent, it is true. So I am navigating, handling conflict from afar.
What followed was a period that clearly showed that separation was imminent.
It gets so bad that we argue via phone. I call him, he doesn't pick up, you know. The arguments are endless almost every day, and it dawns on me there's no marriage here. There's no marriage here. At one time I remember asking him, it was in January, I think 2022 or 2021 thereabout. I said, can we pray about it? Because I thought, now we have been arguing and we're not getting any solution. This infidelity thing is a thing that we are not getting a solution. So can we pray about it? Because I wanted to know his mind. What is he thinking about us or about the family? And he says he doesn't want to pray, he doesn't have the grace, he's sick. And you don't have to believe whatever he's saying, even if he's far away. So long distance, if someone tells you he's sick, you don't know. You can only take them at their word. So, and it came to a point, it dawned on me, and I told him, I think we are separated. We are not in a marriage. Whatever you want and whatever I want is quite different. And that's when I think emotionally I just locked. Like, I don't know if it's locked or just shut down.
The two families would later plan a meeting to communicate terms of the separation.
The side of his family, his uncle said, this is what our son wants. He does not want the marriage. He'll take care of our son until he's an adult. Take care in what way? Maybe pay school fees and upkeep. That is the, okay, this other side, now see, they also represented me and said my position. Then if this marriage, you don't want the marriage, I also don't want the marriage, because I can't fight for it alone. Yeah, so that was my position. And my best couple was there, my parents were there, my dad was there. My mom is still in the US, so my dad was there, my uncle, my auntie, to represent my mom. Yeah, was there, Mzee wa Kanisa, yeah, he was also there, and my best couple. So that is how the meeting went. And my friends came in because we stayed in the restaurant a whole day.
So that day we decided, oh, why can't we have lunch in a restaurant? So we went, we had lunch, and we didn't talk about, now your marriage is coming to an end. We didn't talk about that guy did this or did this. We just talked about general things. We ate, we laughed. And by the end of the day, we realized it was around 8 p.m. And by that time, the visitors had already left. So we were there, to just encourage her and to make her not think too much about what is going on back at home. Because we were like, if we leave this girl alone and she goes home or she goes somewhere else, she's going to be depressed. So for us, it was about just coming together and offering her love and offering a blanket of love and a shoulder to cry on.
Raised with the perfect example of her parents and doing things right from a Christian background, this was a bitter pill to swallow for Bethel.
Living with two, what do we say? Is it dilemmas or opposites? My parents' marriage that is working, not that it is perfect, but they have been married for many years, over 40 years, and now mine isn't working. So living through those two, what I've been taught in church vis-a-vis what is happening in my life, there is an aspect of shame, disappointment, feeling, I think I was too naive. I was not even prepared for this marriage. I didn't know what being married was. Yeah, the realization that I had no capacity, I had nothing to do with being married. Yeah, I should have focused on my purpose. Feeling a sense of defeat, sense of disappointment, shame, that this is what I'm taught, but in reality, it's failed. Yeah, and I am also to blame for the marriage. Yeah, because I also did wrong things in the marriage, and he also was to blame. So we are equally responsible for the downfall of the marriage. It's a difficult place to be in because there's a lot of pain, the shame. Yeah, okay, throwing yourself pity parties also. Yeah, you feel defeated because no one gets married. I did not get married to be separated. I did not get married to be divorced.
Bethel later got served with divorce papers, and as she testifies, the church was a perfect shield during that time.
That day, just something died. In my spirit, in my heart, in my mind, something died, and it was devastating. But I thank God that it happened that way because I got support from the church. Yeah, my senior pastor, Pastor Grace, Reverend Grace, told me, can you go and grieve for a whole month? Pray if you need to pray, grieve, but you grieve in God. Don't get out of God. And that strengthened me. And checking on me, how are you? How is your son? So, and my other pastor, he's called Reverend Haron, would also check on me together with his wife. How are you? And have meetings. Come, how are you navigating? Where are you at? What are you feeling? What are you thinking? What are you, how are you? So what are the challenges you're facing? They really covered. So I never felt neglected in the church. Even my own workmates, they never treated me different. Yeah. If there's one of my workmates would say, leo umekuja kama umekasirika. And just at a light note. Yeah. And she would see, yeah, it's because I'm going through pain. But they never treated me different.
After some time, it was evident that Bethel needed therapy, and she reached out to Firm Nest Hub, where she met Rose Mbai, a counseling psychologist.
I must first of all say that Bethel has consented me, and she's actually the one who brought me here. So ethically, I know I'm not supposed to talk about my client, but she's the one who actually brought me here. So for the sake of my professionality, I must say that she's the person behind this. So the first interaction, of course, it starts with a call. When someone needs help, they make a call. And she saw whatever I was doing and wanted to understand herself. When Bethel called me, the first thing was like, my world is crashing. Where are you at? I don't understand. And so that is the first encounter. I saw a broken lady. I saw a broken whose dreams were really shattered. I saw a lady who felt disappointed by God.
What followed was taking Bethel through the healing process.
We had to agree it is a process. And this process is not just one-off. It is not a quick fix. It was not switching on and off. It is a process, and we have a lot of back and forth. So we had to go. At times I thought we were okay. Few months later, you realize we are back in denial, and we could gladly go back to denial, again address it. It was quite mad because it was around 8 months process. There was weekly session. At times you could give a break, denial. At times you could call me and we had session. It was acceptance. You're like, wow, we thank the Lord. Tena tunarudi pale. So what you're saying, it has been back and forth.
Today, the change is evident, and Bethel has found resolve after going through divorce.
One thing I liked about her is the determination. And that is what really made therapy become very, very smooth. And of course, because of that, she has really, really grown. The personal identity, no longer bitter, her coping mechanism, still working, still in her ministry. It was not interfered with. The low moments now, she's able to equip, because what we do is equip someone to become a better person. Away from therapy, I mean, all the time she's within herself. She's ready to make decisions, sound decision. She's able to tell, no, I'm not in this space right now. She's able to make a right decision in terms of her friends. And I like the person she has become. The self-awareness has really made her become a person who is very instrumental, and I'm sure she will help so many people after this.
The healing has taken time, yes. At some point we were like, oh my God, will she ever come out of this? Because we felt like it's taking too long. You know, the way somebody is like going through something and you're like, maybe she will take like 1 year or maybe some few months and then she will come out of it. But the healing process was messy, and sometimes she was all over the place. The emotions are high, sometimes she's low. You can't really describe her. Then it came to this phase where she went for the therapy. Then all of a sudden she's taking charge of her life. And at this particular point, I'm happy with the direction that she's taking.
God heals the brokenhearted and he patches their wounds. And therefore God is a master healer of the heart.
While going through the healing process, Bethel found it in her heart to forgive her ex-husband.
We were like, hey, this forgiveness thing, we were in a group set up. This forgiveness, I don't feel like forgiving. I don't even want to forgive. But going through that unit on forgiveness helped me realize I had also done wrong things in my marriage. And it's not about him, blame him. He did. It is now I taking responsibility. What did I do in the marriage? And how do I want to navigate? And what does God tell me to do in this season? So I reconciled with myself and reconciled with God by going back to God and taking my pain to him. It was a process. Even till now, when I have triggers, I take my pain to God. Yeah. So because healing is a process, it's not a one-day thing. And I remember calling my ex-husband since now the divorce proceedings are still going. I called him and I booked an appointment with him, and I was very cordial, and I asked for forgiveness, for him to forgive me for all the things I did in the marriage.
As co-parents to their child, Bethel makes room for the father to interact with his son.
Over the years, the interaction has reduced because I felt now he needs to be intentional, but I cannot keep reminding him to be intentional to call our son. Now, looking back, my son, he's now 10 years old. So his father left when he was 1.5 years old. So all he knows is talking to his father via video call. And that is what has been happening. But over the years, the calls have been going downwards. The upkeep and he has tried over the years, the upkeep and the school fees, but also it has been going downwards. So there are challenges in co-parenting. Marriage ended, but family does not end. That means there is no ex-mother or ex-father in this equation with our son. He is 100% his father, as I am 100% his mother. So I learned to separate issues, not to bring the divorce onto my son.
With the growth Bethel's witnessed, Cess is trusting the Lord for far greater things for her friend.
I have told her severally that I am praying and hoping that one day I'll see her with her family and happy and having achieved all these things that she desires. She desires to go, she's in school doing her master's. I want her to see graduate in her PhD. I want her to be successful. I can't wait just to see what God has in store for her, because I believe that God has a good plan for her. And knowing her and knowing how she has served God faithfully, there's nobody who has served God and they have remained the same. So I know that God has a good plan for her, and I can't wait just to see all these things being manifested even in her life.
For Bethel, sharing her story means a lot more as she acknowledges God's healing power.
The pain of divorce is so deep. It's a ripple effect. It's not only me who is affected, my son, both parents from all sides, siblings. It affects everyone. And if I can prevent a couple from going through divorce, then I would have said my story is worth giving. So to help the married couples to work out their marriage, to go for therapy together, not when it's also in difficult times, even in good times, to really assess what is the status of our marriage. Are we in a healthy marriage? Are we in a secure marriage? Where are we hiding things in our phone? What do we really want? What are we standing for? What are the structures in our marriage so that marriages can heal? So I'm giving my story for marriages to heal. I'm also giving my story to the person who is going through divorce and doesn't know how to navigate life and has a lot of pain, that there is hope and there is healing.
As we come to the end of Bethel's story, it is clear that no one gets married to be divorced. And as Rose shares, there is a critical role the church needs to play at the formative stages of marriage.
We need to know that we can stop these divorces. We can make family thrive better by maybe working more. I know churches are doing a lot about premarital counseling, but is it possible for them to take it to the next level so that they are able to strengthen marriages from the roots as they make decisions? Because I know most people do premarital as a tick the box so that my pastor is able to officiate my wedding. But how deep have you gone? There are things we call red flags. This is not red flags. Some are red billboards. You can see them clearly from where you are. But then my curiosity is, as you do those premarital counseling, have you really helped this couple to know that they need to do a deeper work so that they get into this relationship? And also when this happens, when losses happen, I know most churches also shy off from helping people who have divorced. Imagine, it's not that the church is encouraging. You are just taking people who are broken to just give them a support. Because if you don't take them near God, the world is waiting.